Looming Bitcoin supply squeeze could trigger new bull cycle, according to crypto analytics firm Glassnode. So I guess Glassnode agrees with me. Yesterday I did a video talking about if we were to have another bull run, it would basically be triggered by the lack of supply on the exchanges and the people holding. Okay, that would trigger the bull run. As I said, then my thesis idea is that we kind of had the run already. Everyone wants to compare back to 2013, 2017. It kind of looks like we already had that, and we're kind of making our own new path now, is what it looks to me. Could be wrong. Of course, everyone says it's going to $10 million by the end of the year. Hey, good. But here we're looking at the Daily Hodl, and this was new as of today. Came out on September 16th here. Certain Bitcoin ownership metrics indicate that Bitcoin could be teeing up for a bullish market cycle. Well, we're in a bull market cycle. According to the blockchain analytics platform Glassnode notes that long-term Bitcoin holders have accumulated 79.5% of all Bitcoin, which is equivalent to the rate achieved last October before the bull market ticked off. Long-term holders on average held Bitcoin for more than 155 days. On an absolute coin volume basis, long-term holders currently own the most coins in history, hitting 12.97 million Bitcoin this week. The peaks in long-term owned supply typically correlate with late-stage bear markets, which are historically followed up by a supply squeeze and initiation of cyclic bull runs. So essentially, I did my video yesterday, and Daily Hodl comes out and says exactly what I said. So yeah, it's not necessarily the demand is already there. It's already there. Now recently, the most recent thing is Grayscale wants to get their ETF for Bitcoin in the United States, which will happen because Grayscale, BlackRock, them guys are all run by the government. So, not officially, but they're run by the government. Because all you boomers' retirement funds and what you think is Social Security and your 401ks, it's all run by BlackRock and Grayscale. So if those guys fail, so does the entire economy, and so does your retirement and all that stuff. Yeah, they're a government entity. So anyways, the SEC has been turning down ETFs for 5 years now, for everybody who applies for no reason, but Grayscale recently applied for one, and I'm sure they're going to get it. I mean, that's just how this stuff works. But you got Visa on board, you got MasterCard on board, Amazon's on board. All of these big companies are all in the works trying to put together how to deal and accept with cryptocurrencies, particularly Bitcoin. Large corporations are out there investing in Bitcoin, such as Tesla. And that's just what we know about. Okay, there are many, many, many large private corporations out there, like your Home Depots and Menards, and I think even Walmart to some extent, that don't have to tell anybody when they buy Bitcoin, all right? It's a supply crunch. So that could, let's just say, if there's some very positive articles out there about how, for instance, Bitcoin is the best hedge against inflation, right? Or the stock market takes even more of a dump and everyone says, oh, Bitcoin's the best. You got to get into Bitcoin. You got to get into Bitcoin, right? And there's a huge FOMO by all the investment firms and everybody, and there's no supply. The price is going to go up. And what is going to happen right after that? The market is going to crash. It's going to get dumped. And that is what I think is going to be going on here. We'll see, because everybody out there is planning for these $200,000-$300,000 Bitcoins. And it's like, yeah, well, why not you just say $10 million Bitcoin? And I'm going to stick with my 80 grand, okay? Because it's realistic, regardless of what they do with the market. If they want to pump it and dump it and do all these things, it's going to be by 3, 4, 5 months from now, it's going to be in around the 80,000 mark, regardless of what happens. Could it go higher? Sure. If nobody plays with the market, what are the odds of that happening? 0. Okay, there's also this whole thing where we have the global financial crisis going on, and we don't know what's going to happen. Okay, with if the stock market crashes 20%, 30%, what's that going to do to the cryptos? I don't know. Okay, we're not exactly in smooth sailing times here, guys. And the reason that I'm sticking with like 80 grand, which is, you know, for looking at it now, could even be high, because when people are saying, everybody is saying at least 100K by the end of the fourth quarter, that gets certain people out there taking out mortgages on their house, racking up all their credit cards to buy Bitcoin now, in the expectation that it's going to be $100,000 by the end of December. And man, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. I think it's going to be a bumpy, rocky road right here, but it is going to get fired off, just like I said and Glassnode said, because there isn't any supply. And there's going to be, for what I can foresee in the way this stuff has gone before, there's going to be huge news about everybody has to get into Bitcoin. Everybody's got to get into Bitcoin. Oh, it's a hedge against inflation. Gold's doing terrible, right? That's funny. They're crashing the gold and the silver markets to try and hide the fact inflation is so bad. That's what's going on with that, guys. There's absolutely no reason the prices of gold is like 1,700 or something. I mean, it's ridiculous. So this is what we have going on, and the Daily Hodl is pointing out the situation. It just says Daily Hodl staff. I don't know. Can't give credit to anybody over there. I'll give credit to myself. So that is what's going on there. And we're talking about also Ethereum too. There's another article here. Crypto Briefing did an article. When is this one from? This one was also from today, appears, or yesterday, 19 hours ago, where Ethereum has a similar situation going on, where they're running out of Ethereum to sell. And it's like, well, yeah, you're burning all the stuff that the miners are doing. So, and then they also initiated a thing where you have to have 32 ETH to stake it or something. When they go to proof of stake, you have to have a certain number of ETH and to qualify for being able to vote on the chain and all these things. So what I'm going to do is take a look over here at Crypto Quant. And anybody out there, you can sign up for Crypto Quant for free, but you have to create an account. All right, and you do have to log into it. Otherwise, it doesn't really give you much for charts. And there is a pay service that gives you a little better information, but just with the freebie one, you can actually learn quite a bit. So what I have up here is the first thing that shows up when you log into the account, and that's the exchange flows for Bitcoin. And what this is telling you here, all exchanges reserve. This is the amount that the exchanges obviously have that they could actually sell over the counter to clients, and the amount that they have to probably have to have on hand to custody for people, I would expect. And you can see the old blue line here and where it's at during all of these things. Obviously, it was very low when Bitcoin's price was high because everyone was FOMOing in. As we can see, our nice little Wyckoff point. A little nice Wyckoff accumulation there. And now we're running into right here where they had some, but the miners all sold out, which is why the supply went from almost nothing to all of a sudden a huge amount of supply. It was both from traders selling and whales selling, and also that miners were selling because they knew, some of them got the idea that, hey, maybe China is serious, and they sold out so they could pack their stuff up. And of course, when Bitcoin is 30,000, nobody was buying except guys like me and people who know what's going on, right? So they had plenty of supply there. Again, this big spike here was probably when the China situation happened, and at last minute, these people had to come up with millions of dollars to move their stuff. And that's what happens there. But then immediately after that, it all got taken off or something. And now you can see where we're at with the supply here. And it says Bitcoin price at 47,700. All exchanges reserved. Now this is in dollars. $2 billion, 372,000, 372 million, 478,000. Now in Bitcoin terms, that is 50,000 Bitcoin. If you do the math on it, which I did before I started recording like a good content creator. 50,000 Bitcoin across every exchange. I believe, everywhere. Maybe it's just the ones that Crypto Quant lists on here, but I think that's pretty much everywhere. And so that's what's going on. So what you do is you get your Mark Cubans out there, and you get your other Shark Tank guy out there, and you have them do all these press releases about how wonderful Bitcoin is and how everyone needs to have Bitcoin, and point out how bad the economy is, and get on Shark Tank and do all these things and get people buying, and it will actually artificially almost increase the price because there wouldn't be any supply on there. And that's where I see our bull run going. Now, we're going to look at the old Ethereum and see what's going on that one. It has very much the same thing, where there is no supply coming from the miners, I'm guessing. Usually miners would mine Ethereum or mine Bitcoin, and then they sell it to the exchanges to pay their bills. That's how that works. And very little supply of Ethereum. Now, Ethereum has staking. Bitcoin does not have that. You know, you can have third-party custody and earn interest off it, but you don't actually, you kind of have to trust the people with your Bitcoin. Ethereum, I think you can stake it in your wallet or stake it through one of their things. So that takes a lot of supply away. You know, like Solana, a lot of Solana is staked. A lot of 80% of Cardano, a tremendous amount of number of Cardano is staked. And when you have it staked, that means that the price of your product can't really go down too much, because there's only so many people who are going to sell, who can sell, because everything is staked. Usually there's a period of time, like Solana, it's a couple of days. You pull your stuff off before you can do anything with it, right? And so here we have a supply crunch for Ethereum. So Ethereum should be going up, but yet it's not, because again, it costs $900 to mint an NFT. All right, 15 transactions per second. What I did want to look up on here, though, particularly with Ethereum, it's not these charts. Which one is it? Market data? I think it was exchange flows. Come on. Here it is. All exchanges inflow transaction count. I don't know what that means exactly. I thought it was just the inflows of people transferring their stuff onto the exchange, which is generally an indicator that they're going to sell. Why else would you move it onto the exchange? When you see, that's how you know people play with Bitcoin, is because you see a tremendous amount of Bitcoin go up onto the exchange on the exchange's inflow. And you're like, here we go. We're going to dump. Right? Well, inflow transaction count for ETH is pegged. It's like it's just today, I think this happened. Yeah, just today. This exchange's inflow transaction count is like pegged way off the chart on good old Ethereum. And I don't know what that means. I don't know if they're going to dump Ethereum, but I don't know the significance of having a huge transaction count like that, but it's interesting to point out. And just so you know how the market is with what it is, and in tracking stuff, you have Crypto Quant will have Bitcoin, and you have Ethereum, and then you have stable coins, and then you have altcoin, and you click on altcoin, and it's like all 6,000 coins, and they only list like 5 or 6 of the biggest ones on here, but they just map the entire rest of the 6,000 altcoins as kind of whatever stuff going on in the altcoin stuff. To let you know, when you're looking at investing, that's for ETH still. When you're looking at investing, you're kind of really looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay. Despite what I personally think about Ethereum, right? As far as investments, that Ethereum's never going to zero, Bitcoin's never going to zero. Good safe bets. Way better than Social Security or 401k, I'll tell you that. So this is Crypto Quant. You can garner some useful information. Like if we go back up to Bitcoin. Was it exchange? No, we'll go to flow indicator. I don't know why my internet's so slow. Maybe it's Crypto Quant. Maybe a lot of people out there are doing the. Maybe a lot of people out there are playing around and trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah, the stablecoin ratio was pegged on this particular set of reports, but maybe it was just one exchange. Yeah, Bitfinex stablecoins ratio in US dollars is pegged. I don't necessarily know what that means, but that's odd. It's like higher than it's ever been just today. So there's going to be something going on. Can't tell you what. I don't spend a ton of time looking at this. I mainly look at the longs versus shorts and what's going on with people betting, okay, and derivatives, because what typically will happen if there's a tremendous amount of bets that are in for either Bitcoin going high or Bitcoin crashing, whenever there's a ton of bets going one way or the other, the market is typically manipulated to wipe those people out. Okay, which is why you've got these things where, oh, we're going to go into a bull run and go to $10 million. You watch, right? So everyone bets long expecting that to happen, and then the market gets manipulated to flush those people out. Okay? It happens all the time. All the time. People out there that want to play with leverage. You know, none of that information is hidden. So Goldman Sachs and BlackRock and Grayscale, they all can see this. And they can go, well, we'll wipe these guys out and get a deal on some Bitcoin. Okay, because it's it's very hard to just try to manipulate the market without assistance. Now, if you can do this when you've got a lot of derivatives in there, and you wipe out a lot of derivative players, is going to drop the market. It has an amplification effect, right? And then let's say you have a news story out there that says, you know, Litecoin's going to be accepted with Walmart or something. And then, oh no, that was just fake. And then you have a news story out there about China bans Bitcoin again, right? And you have all these kind of amplification effects, and this is how the market is manipulated. They have this price called max pain, where if you really want to mess with people, you find the targeted price where the most amount of shorts will get wiped and the most amount of people betting long will get wiped. Okay? And watch out for Max Payne. I wonder if that's how the name for the video game got. Max Payne is a, you know, term that comes primarily from trading stocks and things like that. So that is what's going on there. I was pointed to this site by another YouTuber because I never knew it existed. It's called Bitcoin Obituaries. And how many times Bitcoin has supposedly died, right? Keeps going through crashes and keeps getting punched in the face, and it's still trucking, right? Lost almost half of its mining hash. Still going. Still going. And so we have here, in the last 3 months, we still have people up in here, and it gives you the headline, and you can click on it and read all about it. Over the long term, Bitcoin will fail. That came from June 17th. That was a YouTube video. Bitcoin is worth exactly 0 on Twitter by some dude. Of course, Bitcoin's going to go to 0. And when you click on him, you find out that it's not just, like here you have Gizmodo. When you click on it, it just says Twitter. It's by somebody who's supposed to know what they're talking about. And you've got cryptocurrencies will prove to be worthless from Market Watch. And this one was just last month on the 30th, just a couple weeks ago. And this month, a couple of days ago, why Bitcoin is a scam. This is the most recent one, and you can click read more, and it goes to Doug Henwood's video, and it can tell you maybe he's a bigwig or something. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting how many times Bitcoin's been killed. I know I've heard a lot of FUD from a lot of different places, but it mysteriously it goes away when people want to pump the market. You know, like it's talking about Shark Tank guy, not Mark Cuban, the other guy. The bald guy, the wonderful guy, right? 2 or 3 months ago, that guy was really, really down on cryptocurrencies. Like really, really down on Bitcoin, really, really down on all these things. And now he came out recently and said that Bitcoin is the future and everybody needs to have some and all this. It's like 360-degree turn in just a couple of months. You know, I watch out for stuff like that, and particularly that guy, because Kevin O'Leary actually said that after poo-pooing it, maybe it was Mark Cuban. One of those guys said that, these things were terrible and a waste of money and this and that. And then when Bitcoin is doing well, or Ethereum, whatever one that they were invested in, they're like, well, honestly, I've actually been invested in Bitcoin for a long, long time. These people already own Bitcoin. They already own Ethereum. They have no reason to tell anybody the truth. Okay? Nobody has any reason to tell anybody the truth. They want to get their stuff cheap. Now, people like me, I don't certainly benefit anything by spreading FUD. And my motivations are more geared towards people gaining sovereignty, at least the people who want it. I don't want a bunch of morons out there with money, all right? You morons who don't want to get involved in it, you can stay broke. And keep working at the factory for $10 an hour, or whatever China allows you to work for. You keep doing that. You want to be part of the system, you want to get your shots and do all that stuff, go do it. But the people who understand that much of what they are told when they're growing up, and much of what they learned about life, has been a fraud, right? And it's one big sort of open air prison in a lot of these different countries, the United States included. And if you want to be productive and you want to get out of that system and have a better life, then it benefits you to know about things like finance and money and fiat and Bitcoin, and other useful life skills, like hunting. And before too long, hunting and having chickens. I don't know. I don't think we'll get that bad, but I also just don't like liars, like that BitBoy guy. Man, you look for like 5 seconds on the internet about that guy, and he pumps all these scam coins and all this stuff too, and it's like, what a dirtbag. Unbelievable. So, anyways, guys like me out here to balance it out. No, I'm not saying Bitcoin to the moon in December, taking a realistic approach at this, but still, it's going to be higher. My own opinion, not financial advice. But it could be a rocky road, and what you want to do is plan yourself for that, okay? Mentally prepare yourself for the fact that everyone's saying that these things are going to be 100, 200,000, 300,000 by the end of the year. And they could, okay? I'm not ruling it out. They could, all right? We don't know how much down pressure that there is, artificial down pressure there is in the market. But who knows, right? Just remember that Bitcoin doubles in a week. Take your profits. Set up stop loss orders on it, okay? Set up stop loss orders. Be smart. And watch out for FOMOing in at the top and all of that. Do your dollar cost average. Because like I said, this is a war. These people, they don't want the peasants to get anything. Okay? They don't want the peasants to have anything. Don't take out your second mortgages. If you have a good rate on credit cards, I don't know. You just don't risk anything you can't afford to lose. And, particularly if they're going to do a washing machine, as we're going up into October, the FOMO is going to hit in October, okay? If they drew the washing machine thing, make sure to have stop losses put in for your altcoins. Now, I mean, Bitcoin, honestly, most of my Bitcoin is going to it's just going to ride. Most of my Solana is just going to ride, okay? But, yeah, a lot of it, or some of it, all of my altcoins, we're going to have stop losses in there. So the market wants to go up by 30% in a day. We're going to raise my stop loss up. Goes up 30% the next day. We're going to raise the stop loss and take profits. Understand? Because the way this has worked is you have your 4-year cycles. You have your halvening. You have this big, huge 1000x run up for everything, right? With some corrections in between, but it's pretty much a parabolic, right? it goes up by 30%, down by 10%, up by 50%, down by 20%, that sort of a thing in a very short period of time. And after that is over, then you enter into a bear market where everything crashes down 50, 60%. And then you've got some altcoins that never recover. They go to zero. All right. And now Bitcoin obviously is never going to go anywhere. Ethereum, probably never going to go anywhere. But a lot of these other projects will, you know, and so it's important to hedge your bets on them altcoins, regardless of how good they are. So that's what I have to say about that. We'll keep an eye out for what's going on whatchamacallit, Crypto Quant. Sorry it's late. I gotta go to bed in 10 minutes so I can get up early and raise people's prices. Yeah, you know, it's worthwhile to know some of this stuff and at least be able to read a chart to see what's going on. The main thing though is here. Really, the most important information type stuff, like the shorts and the longs. A lot of these charting places don't actually want to give you up to like the last 3 or 4 days, so they're kind of worthless. But yeah, plenty of people out there who do TA. Again, you know, the supply is really low on the old Bitcoin and really low on the old Ethereum, and it keeps going lower and lower and lower, and they don't find some somewhere. And I can only imagine the run-up that's going to happen later on in this year. And we'll see. We will see. So with that, guys, we're going to be out of here.